Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the KJV Pastor's Bible in black genuine leather from Holman. Now, this is also available in imitation leather. It comes in a nice sturdy box. I like that. That's elegant box. Here's what we have. Special insert section for officiating a variety of ministerial roles. Single column versified format, Words of Christ in red, 10.5 point font. Topical page headings, concordance, Smythe sewn, 2 ribbon markers, presentation page, and full color maps. There are a few things I love about this Bible and a few things I'm not so fond of, so we'll see those as we go. So first, our genuine leather. It does have a pebbly green. I like the look of this green. It has a paste down liner, and I'm not sure it's reinforced. It's a little bit stiff. It does feel good to the touch. I like how it feels. I like how it looks. Rounded spine, which is my preference. I like that rounded spine. Perimeter stitching. Then on our spine we have KJV, Holy Bible, King James Version, and Holman with 1, 2, 3 spine indications. And it is Smythe sewn as we saw it before. There's our 2 ribbons, 1/4 inch ribbons, black for the Old Testament, red for the New Testament. And it does stay open fairly well once you get into it. Right in there, no problem at all. First few pages in Genesis, you're fine. So let's see. Presentation page. The paper is 30 GSM. And it is made in China. There's our page. It was typeset by 2K Denmark using MCM type. And the print is dark. I love the print. Couldn't ask for better print than this. We have 14 words, and many of them have even more than that. It is verse by verse, with pilcrows marking the paragraphs. It does include italics for supplied words. And there's our 10.5 point font. It is dark. It's line matched. We have an inch outer margin. Not much for the rest of it, but we do have enough inner margin to bring the text out of the gutter, so that it's always on the flat part of the page. I found it easy to hold open with no trouble at all. Then across the top we have the book name with chapter number on the outer margin. In the center of the header we have the page number, and then in the inner margin we have the page summary. And then let's look at our red letter. There's the red. That red is bold and dark. I like that. Stands out really well. Now this is a text-only edition, so there are no footnotes, no section headings, nothing in the text at all. Many chapters have 2 lines between the chapters. That would normally be a good place to add your own notes, your own section headings, your own chapter summaries, something along that line. But when the chapter starts at the top of the page, it doesn't include a line. It doesn't include those lines, so it's not consistent enough to be able to use it. We do have 1 inch margin in the outer margin for notes, but we have so much space in the text that I kind of would have liked to have seen that brought in a little bit, a couple of words, and then that would have brought this out a little bit more, used a little bit more of this space, and then we would have had a wider margin out here. If I can make one change, that's what I would make. A lot of people probably would want to write their references after the end of the verses, but it's not always consistent, so you don't always have enough space for them. So that's one of the things that I would like to see changed. Bring that in just a little bit, give me a bit wider margin. I feel that wouldn't increase the size of the Bible hardly at all, and I think it would make better use of all this space. I do find the paper easy enough to turn, although it can be a little bit of a challenge if your hands are cold like mine are right now. Back here in my cold room. So there's the red letter in Revelation. And then here is our concordance, 88 pages if I remember correctly. And it does include people and places. I like it when they include people and places. And it has some biographical information. That makes it a lot easier, a lot more useful for study. I like that. Pretty decent sized concordance. Considering it doesn't have references or any other helps for study, that a good concordance is helpful. Here's how many we have for God. All the way there, then there. Then we have Godhead, godliness, godly, gods. And after the concordance, we have 10 pages of regular Bible paper for notes. And then we have our Holman maps. These are the maps they're using lately in all of their study Bibles. I love these colors. And they include cities, distance, some topographical information in there. There's a Red Sea crossing, a possible Red Sea crossing, a couple of different places. And then we have alternate routes. It does not include an index. For the most part, I do find it easy enough to use to find what you're looking for, but there may be a little bit of searching in there trying to find it. I love these colors. They are beautiful. Now, what makes it a pastor's Bible is the pastor's helps. They place the pastor's helps between Psalms and Proverbs. First, I would love to see them placed either between the Old and New Testament or at the end, or maybe even the front. I don't know. So when we get to the end of Psalms, the very next page is pastor's helps. It doesn't have that many. And that's my next thing that I would like to see changed. It has a classical wedding ceremony, contemporary wedding ceremony, funeral preparation, funeral sermon, funeral for a child, funeral for a student, funeral for a suicide victim, and that's it. Nothing for communion, nothing for baptisms, nothing for dedication services, nothing for grief counseling, nothing for marriage counseling. There are a lot of things a pastor does that make the funerals and the weddings, they're useful, but at the same time, since you don't have the counseling to go along with it, you have to have other tools. So it makes it less useful, in my opinion. So this could have been a lot better. It could have included a lot more information. So if you're looking for pastoral information, this probably is not the Bible you want. If you're looking for note space, it's probably not the Bible you want. If you're looking for a good single column setting with a little bit of note space and a good red letter, this is great. You can't do better than this. This is excellent for that. Not a lot of space, but there's a little bit. So let's take a look at our size. We have 6 3/4 by 9 3/4 by almost 1.5, and we'll weigh it. 2 pounds, 8.9 ounces. So let's compare it to a few other editions. Here's the Pastor's Bible in CSB, also from Holman. Now, the CSB is a thicker Bible, but the footprint is the same. The layout is similar, except for it's in paragraph. The print is not as dark, and I'm not sure if this paper is thicker or not. It is different paper. I kind of like the paper in the KJV better. Let's see if we can compare the print size and quality. I think the font in the KJV is darker, but other than that, it's about the same. Now, where the CSB is better, is a better pastor's Bible, is that it does have the same material here in the front, between the Psalms and Proverbs. That's exactly the same. In the back, we have a lot more tools. There's verses for pastoral care, brief biblical theology of leadership, 8 traits of effective church leaders, pastor, find your identity in Christ, glorifying God in your ministry, what is biblical preaching, preaching Christ from all the scriptures, what is doctrinal preaching, 4 keys for giving an effective invitation, 5 ways to improve congregational singing, soul care, walking with others in wisdom and love, letter to the church, 5 steps to start and keep an evangelistic culture. How do you disciple others? The one thing you must do as a student pastor. Sharing the gospel with children. And that's it. So in my opinion, the CSB has a lot more in it because of those articles in the back. I would have liked to have seen those articles added here in the KJV. Next is the KJV Minister's Bible from Thomas Nelson. Now this is the leather soft. It's also available in genuine leather. And this is a lot different size Bible. It's more along the line for evangelists or anyone that's just on the go carrying a small Bible, because the font is not anywhere near the same size. So if you're looking for a large print, this one is not going to help you. And it does have red letter. The red letter looks really good, but still we're looking at a small print. So there's how they look. We'll zoom in so you can compare. So if you need a large print, the Thomas Nelson is not going to help you. But where the Thomas Nelson shines is that it has the complete minister's manual from Thomas Nelson. So it has lots more information for weddings. Thicker paper. This is at 36 GSM paper. Lots of more information for weddings. Funerals, a lot more funeral information, a lot more options and things. Graveside. Funeral hymns. Now we have dedications. There will be things in here that a lot of people will disagree with. So it's not necessarily for everyone, but at the same time, there's enough in here that will work. And at the same time, you can make the changes that you want to make if you need to. Dedications are handy. Ordination of ministers. So for a pastor's Bible, this one has a lot more. Ordination of deacons. Baptisms in the Lord's Supper. Sermons. I'm skipping several pages at a time as I go through here. I've been doing this the whole time. Worship. I'm not turning every single page. Just enough to get the idea. Pastoral care. Now this one I want to go back and show. Hospital visitation. A section on pastoral care. So it has hospital visitations. Scriptures for believers, for unbelievers. Roman road to salvation. Now there are going to be some things here that some may agree or disagree with. And you can use that however you want to. Invitations. And that's it. So this section right here is the minister's manual. And that's a lot of information. So if you're looking for something for ministry and you don't need a large print font, this is a much better Bible. No comparison. If you want writing space, if you want large print, then the Holman is your better bet. You just don't get as good of tools. And then finally, I want to compare to a single column wide margin, because that is the other purpose of this Bible. And for that, I'm comparing to the KJV store version of the note takers. And the reason for that is it is in red letter. So I kind of want to compare as close as possible. The note takers is thicker, has the same footprint. This edition is in lambskin, which I love, but it's available in other options. And here is our layout differences. Print is about the same size, maybe slightly smaller, nowhere near as dark. The paper has more show through and is a little bit harder to turn. Feels thinner, although I think this one actually is thinner. No, the Holman is thinner, but I think this is a little bit more difficult to turn. It's the texture. For me, texture plays a bigger role than thickness for paper. But here's how they compare. Comparison. Print is not as dark. That's an even bigger deal, bigger issue in the red letter. This red in the note takers is quite a bit paler, noticeably paler. And it's a decent red. It's not a bad red, but when compared to this Holman, it's not even in the same. They're not playing the same game. Holman print is much better. I prefer the print and the paper in the Holman. However, you probably already noticed the main difference. That wide margin, we're talking about 1 inch versus 2.5. Now, at first I thought that if they just make this smaller, it would get rid of all this empty space in the text and we wouldn't have that issue. This one shows that's not necessarily the case because it still has many verses with a lot of space. That's the problem with the verse by verse. You're just going to have that. But I feel like there's a place where we can find the perfect balance. Like right here, we don't have much space at all. I'm okay with a little bit of space. I think if we can have it so that most verses waste less than a half of a line, I think we're doing good. I don't know that can be done. But at the same time, this one is a 10 words per line, while that one is more like a 14. I think maybe a 12 point might be a better balance. I don't know. Just thinking out loud there, but I don't know. Either way, if wide margins what you're looking for, then the note takers has no equal. And they even make one that's what they call the journaling Bible, has a 3.5 inch margin. The only other thing possibly could be better would be they're interleaved, but it's a smaller print. And I'm kind of a large print guy nowadays, turning 54 soon, so I'm reading the 10-point font. But that's how they compare. So my final thoughts. I love this Bible, but I find a few things about it frustrating. I love the print. I love the paper. Even though it's 30 GSM paper, I love this paper. It's easy to turn. It's white. It's not shiny. The print is as dark as it gets. I mean, this print is amazing. The red is beautiful. The design of the inner margin is excellent to bring the text out onto the wide part of the page. I've preached from this thing, oh man, many times. I've preached from this multiple times, and I enjoyed every single one of them. I had no issues at all preaching from this. It's just that I don't have a lot of space for notes, and it doesn't have a lot of pastor's helps. So it's not ideal for any one of those. So now we're looking at trying to create a balance of both. It's a okay pastor's Bible. It's an okay wide margin Bible. If what you're looking for is a single column KJV in red letter, and you don't care about the margin space and you don't care about the pastor helps, get this one. You're not going to do any better than this. Now they are coming out with a handmade version. I don't know if it's exactly this Bible or not, but they are coming out with a handmade version of a KJV in single column, and I'm looking forward to that one. But in the meantime, I'm still using this one. I enjoy using it. I like the size. I like the print. I like the paper. I just wish it had a little bit wider margin, and I wish that it had a little bit more pastor helps or not any. That's just my train of thought on that. Maybe put them somewhere else in there too. But I will place some links in the notes, and I'll try to put some tags up here too so that you can click on things. I always forget to put them there because I'm a writer, and I do most of my work is on BibleByGuide.com, not on YouTube. So if you only see me on YouTube, you're missing a lot of information. But anyway, I will place the links in the notes so that you can make a purchase if you're interested, and also to see the written review with more information and more detail, and with photos, and then also Lifeway did supply this in exchange for an honest review. And my honest review is that it's close to perfect. But those few little things that I'd like to see changed, I do find a little bit aggravating. But if you ignore that, it's great. If you ignore that, it's an excellent Bible. So thanks for watching.